Hey everybody, this is TCG Productions here, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to take an optical media image that was distributed in a .bin and a .q file and actually not only convert the .bin file into, extract the .iso and the various other media files that might be encapsulated in the .bin file. And then I'll be showing you how to put all this back together and burn a mixed media disk, specifically for use on a rather old and elderly computer, such as my 1993 Gateway 2000 8046 system back here, running Windows for Workgroups 3.11. So, you're going to need some terminal. You're going to need a couple of utilities. The first one, the first one you're going to need to use is what's called bchunk, B-C-H-U, N as in Nancy, K. You'll be using this to extract the files out of the .bin file using the .q file as the information on where the various files are located within the .bin file. And then the next thing you'll need is K3B. Both of these should be available in your distribution standard repositories. I can make no guarantees if you have an oddball configuration such as a Linux from scratch setup, you're using your own repositories, or you have some other non-standard configuration going on. You're also going to need an optical drive made pretty much within the last 20 years that's capable of burning CD recordable media, and you're also going to need at least one CD recordable blank disk. I say at least one because you may make a mistake like I did and end up burning a coaster disk. In fact, my most recent attempt at this was mostly a success, but it was a bit of a flop because what I did is I just burned the ISO into the data portion of the disk rather than actually extracting the files out of the ISO and burning the files to the data portion of the disk. This resulted in me popping the disk into my Windows 3.1 workstation, opening it up in File Manager, and discovering that, well, the computer had followed the instructions exactly to the T and burned the ISO directly into the data portion of the disk. So don't do that. So what we're going to need to do here is crank the font size of the terminal up. Alright, there's 17 point. That should be just fine. So what we're going to need to do here is we're going to use bchunk, and then I forget the exact. Okay, so we're going to use, well, actually, we need to get into the directory where our .bin and our .q files are located. So, download CT3990, and there's our files. And yes, I did download this file from winworldpc.com. They are amazing. They've actually had quite a few utilities that I have used and installed on various old computers of mine, including, but not limited to, the 1993 Gateway 2000 workstation, my Dell Dimension 2400. Well, that was indirectly downloaded from winworld.com because I just copied those over from my Athlon 64 system, which is the actual origination. This was the actual download destination from. Okay, anyways, we're really overcomplicating that otherwise simple matter. Anyways, now that we've gotten into our directory here, we need to invoke bchunk by using bchunk, and let me see. We're not going to use a verbose option because that just prints stuff to the terminal that's not relevant to the video. And I do want to output audio files in WAV format. We do not want to swap the byte order in the audio tracks because now your mileage may vary with this. If you do swap the byte order, I would try swapping the byte order first and playing some of the files. Turn your speakers way down when you attempt to play these files. As I said, turn your speakers down when previewing these WAV files, because if you did swap the byte order and it turns out you didn't actually need to swap the byte order, you'll know very quickly, because you'll have binary garbage being replayed as audio and you are going to get very loud static emanating from your speaker system. So if you do swap the byte order and you do get garbage playing out of your WAV files, just rerun, delete everything, rerun this command, except you don't use the S switch, and you should have good playable audio files. So in this case, we'll be using bchunk-w to output audio files in raw WAV format. And then we will specify our binary file, image.bin, so sbawe32.bin, and then we'll specify the Q file, which is sbawe32.q, and then we will specify the base name for our extracted files. In this case, it's going to be sbawe32. I'm just going to use underscore conv for converted. And there we go. It read the Q file, it detected our ISO file, and then our 10 audio tracks, and it went ahead and extracted all of these out to raw files on our hard disk. So I'm going to take all of these files here, cut them, create a new folder, name it converted, and just go ahead and put everything in here. So now we have our files, and the WAV files should be playable. If you can't tell. And in this right here should be a mountable ISO. Yep, it is. We can browse it and everything. So, Okay, so once you get done with that, you're going to need to go back into your extracted ISO file, and you're going to need to mount this. Now, any fairly recent version of Nemo, Nautilus, whatever your favorite file manager happens to be, you should just be able to right-click it, and then you can either click Mount Archive or Open with Disk Image Mounter. Either of these will work, and you should see it appear in your devices. It'll be a fairly standard loop device, because you hit Properties, Modified January 6, 2036. Okay. But it'll just be a fairly basic loop device. So you'll want to go ahead and mount this and keep it mounted. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and insert your blank CD recordable into your optical drive, and then you'll want to go ahead and open up K3B. So down here where it says More Actions, you'll click this, and you'll click New Mixed Mode CD Project. And over here you'll see Audio Section in K3B Data Project. So what you'll do is you'll go and you'll go ahead and take your file manager, drag it to the side here, and for the K3B Data Project, you'll go to your mounted ISO file, and you'll just select everything and just drag and drop it into the file section here. Now, once you've done that, you'll click Audio Section, you'll go back up one directory, and you'll take all these WAV files that were extracted and drag and drop them into the audio section. Now for the K3B Data Project, you do not want to just drag and drop the ISO in there. If you get a prompt asking you to burn it directly or add it to the data section, click Add it to the data section, delete it out of there, mount the ISO, and then drag and drop the files out of the ISO directly into the data section as you see here. Now, for the volume name, I would just try to go ahead and keep that as the name of the actual ISO itself. In this case, it's SBAWE32. So you'll go here to the volume name and give it that same name, SBAWE32. Go ahead and click out of that. And then you'll go ahead and click Burn. Now, we do have some options that have to be customized for this to work correctly. Up here at the burn medium, you want to make sure that this says empty CDR medium, and for the speed, put it as low as it can go. Now for the writing mode, choose DAO for disk at once. Don't simulate, don't create an image, and move on to the image tab. This should be all grayed out. Move on to CD text, uncheck the text box that says write CD text. For miscellaneous, change data in second session to data in first track. And then for the mode here, this is kind of broken. Hit this drop down and select mode 1. Then go to file system. Change the file system type to DOS compatibility and then hit custom. Make sure that generate Rock Ridge and generate Joliet extensions is unchecked. Make sure nothing is checked under ISO 9660 settings. Make sure that your ISO 9660 is set to level 1. And go ahead and check do not import previous session. And click OK. You can get this same effect by selecting custom here. And it will, by default, it will check generate Rock Ridge and Joliet extensions. So uncheck those. And up here, this will be by default level 3. Set it to level 1. And then there'll be the option to allow 31 character ISO 9660 file names will be checked. Uncheck it, click OK. It'll sense this and automatically switch to DOS compatibility. Leave the symbolic links and white space handling alone. Go back and double check your settings. Writing mode disk at once. Do not simulate. Do not create an image. This should be grayed out. CD text should be unchecked. Under miscellaneous, you should have data in first track and mode 1. And then for file system, double check here. Custom, generate Rock Ridge and Joliet extensions. Nothing should be checked under ISO 9660 settings. Level should be set to 1. Rock Ridge and Joliet settings should be grayed out. Do not import previous session and do not cache inodes. Go ahead and click OK and click burn. Now it will go ahead and burn the disk, and once the disk is burned it will go ahead and spit the disk out, and we will come back just after it has spat the disk out and we are ready to test the results. Okay, here we are. The disk has burned successfully. It was ejected by the optical drive automatically. And I've got the disk inserted into the Gateway 2000 workstation over here. And as you can see, I have the audio control panel program manager category pulled up from whenever I was testing the previous disk, the one where I just directly burned the ISO to the disk instead of extracting the files and burning the files to the disk. So if we go over here to main and pull up the file manager, now we may or may not get a blue screen out of this. Okay, we're already over here at the optical drive, and you can actually see we do have actual files on the disk, and we are currently browsing the diskette series for the Sound Blaster 16 drivers, and all 6 diskettes in the series are here. So we do have a working data portion of the disk. And if we open up the audio group in the program manager and call it Quick CD here, we also have audio tracks on the disk. Mixer control and turn that down a little bit, and I think we can actually browse. I'm not sure if we can browse I'm not sure if we can browse the data section of the disk while at the same time playing audio, but it looks like we can. However, it looks like it kind of works, but it doesn't work well. There's no disk and drive D. Okay, an error occurred. Okay. That's convenient. I just realized that I've closed the Quick CD utility, but it's still playing. So let's stop that. And now I refresh. Okay, it works. Okay, so can't really do both at the same time, but it goes to show that we have successfully burned a mixed mode data and audio CD. Anyways, this is TCG Productions. Peace out, guys. Peace out, and see you in the next one. Hey everybody, this is TCG Productions here, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to go from how to take an optical media image that is distributed in a .bin and a .q format and convert it. Let me see, what is this? No, I don't want to do that. I've already completely jacked up the opening of this video, so it looks like I'm going to be re-recording this entire thing. That was a waste of camera time. Okay, let's try this entire thing again.